Tonight, frustrations continue for Sunwing travelers with another day of delays.
I've been here for 2 days now. We got here yesterday morning.
Poor communication skills and complete chaos.
Many at Pearson Airport still waiting to take off a day later as Sunwing Airlines keeps working to fix a technical issue that has grounded dozens of flights both here and abroad. Plus,
so it's been a pretty heavy time.
Yeah, he's safe now, so that's all that matters.
we check in with residents in Little Italy days after a massive fire ripped through their building, leaving many of them and their animals displaced.
One death by virtue of a legal handgun is one death too many.
The Ontario Liberal Party is making a promise to combat gun violence by banning handguns if elected in June. Good evening, I'm Kelda Yoon. The frustrations continue tonight for many Sunwing passengers. A technical issue that is keeping flights grounded still hasn't been resolved. The airline says it's working around the clock to fix the problem, but as Chris Glover reports, more delays are expected in the meantime.
At Pearson Airport, the campout continues.
Don't show my cards.
Yeah. Delayed Sunwing passengers passing the time any way they can.
If it keeps going on that they're going to be delaying, then cancel the trip and give us back our money or give us a credit or whatever.
Many of these travelers have been here since yesterday morning, staying at airport hotels on Sunwing's dime.
Just constant delays, and somewhere around lunchtime they told us it was the systems were down, and nobody was boarding. And it was a global thing for Sunwing.
Sunwing says its check-in system suffered a system outage, and the airline is working to manually process as many flights as possible.
The whole thing's kind of sucks, to be honest, it really does.
Jason White should have been in Dominican yesterday. He wishes this system disaster happened a week from now.
You know what? If I couldn't come back, I think that would be awesome.
And now we seem to be stuck in purgatory.
But getting stuck internationally is no laughing matter, says James Smythe. His family is stuck at a resort in Punta Cana. Their Sunwing flight home to Toronto was delayed at least twice already.
It's unsettling, and when you refer to communication, there is no communication. And I take daily medication, and at some point we're running out.
In a tweet, Sunwing committed to compensating delayed passengers, mandated by the 2019 Federal Bill of Rights for air travelers.
As soon as I have more updates, I will update you.
Expedient communication is also part of that Bill of Rights.
So we were here pretty much all day yesterday with just poor communication skills and complete chaos.
Today, some passengers have noticed an improvement.
It's much more organized today, and people are not so frustrated because they've got bellies that are full, and it's just a waiting game.
Sunwing says as it continues to process flights manually, additional delays can be expected. Chris Glover, CBC News, Toronto.
We're monitoring a potential labor disruption at Union Station tonight. Nearly 100 workers responsible for the movement of passenger and freight trains could go on strike if a deal isn't reached by midnight. The 95 workers are mainly responsible for signals and communication maintenance, as well as train control at the Union Station rail corridor. And they've been without a new contract since December 2019. Metrolink says it has developed a contingency plan to ensure service continues on GO Transit and the UP Express in the event of a strike. The woman alleged to have pushed someone onto the subway tracks this weekend had her first court appearance today. 45-year-old Edith Frayne was arrested at Finch subway station Monday evening. Now, she's now charged with attempted murder. Ali Chiasson has the latest on the investigation and what we're learning about the accused.
45-year-old Edith Frayne attended her court hearing over the phone, so there's no sketch available of her today, but you've seen her image before. In a picture police published while looking for this not yet identified woman they believe to have pushed someone onto the subway track Sunday evening. Today, in a video obtained by BlogTO, you actually see it happen. We're only playing the first 7 seconds because to watch the victim hit the tracks is disturbing. The 39-year-old woman survived the fall.
But she had the wherewithal to crawl under the platform as the train came into the station, so she was not struck by the train.
Less than 24 hours later, Edith Frayne was arrested at Finch Station, thanks to the watchful eye of a fare collector.
Just after 6 o'clock, one of our collectors at Finch Station spotted someone that they thought matched the description of the suspect and matched the picture they had seen. They called it into our Transit Control Center. Transit Control immediately contacted police, who were able to dispatch officers, and they made the arrest.
It's not the first time she was allegedly involved in an altercation on the TTC. In 2011, Frayne was charged with 4 counts of assault and 3 counts of assault with a weapon for a fight on a downtown streetcar. Those charges were eventually withdrawn. Now, almost 11 years later, she's been hit with the more serious charge, attempted murder.
In cases of people being pushed by strangers in random attacks like this, there have been 3 since 2009, including Sunday's event.
TTC's Stuart Green says these crimes are rare.
More often what happens is people intentionally go to track level, or sometimes people slip and fall at the tracks.
Is there anything that we can take away from this in terms of safety on subway platforms?
If you ever see someone on track level or at track level, at the ends of all platforms, both ends of all platforms, there's a blue light. Under that blue light is a big red button that cuts power. So if you're able to get to that or call out to someone, hit that power button, it'll stop the train from coming in.
Edith Frayne's next court appearance is April 27th. Ali Chiasson, CBC News, Toronto.
It's been almost 5 days since a massive fire tore through a building in Toronto's Little Italy. While no one was injured, thankfully, the fire did cause extensive damage, leaving about 20 residents displaced. Our Dahlia Ashry checked in with a few of them tonight.
This was the scene of the early Friday morning fire in Little Italy that resulted in 20 residents being displaced, including Divi and their 2 frogs and tortoise.
Yeah, he's safe now, so that's all that matters.
Divi, along with their pets, are now safe and have shelter. And last time we spoke with Divi's roommate, Madison Dearlove, her cat was missing.
I have a sign. He responds to Indy. He's been missing since 5 o'clock this morning.
Fortunately, the sign helped.
We were able to find him, and it was such a relief when we did. There was a lot of crying and just never wanting to leave him alone.
Divi is now back home with their mother in Scarborough, working from home and sleeping on the couch. It hasn't been easy.
Love my family dearly, but it's not the most queer-affirming environment. They still kind of call me by my dead name and all those types of things. So the mental strain unfortunately, of coming back to live at home and seeing more family now has been quite exhausting, to be honest. It's probably one of the hardest parts for me after having the fire.
Russell Neeson was home the night of the fire. He's also been displaced and staying with his friend.
It's been a pretty heavy time. All my furniture, everything in the living room, my bed, all your sheets and everything. But yeah, right now I cried the most for my plants. But it's okay because I got one of my ivies and made it out.
His guitar also made it out safe. Russell has since started a GoFundMe page along with a few others to help people get back up on their feet. They're hoping to raise $80K.
I've had a lot of clothes that were damaged. Like right now, the clothes I'm wearing are not mine, they are my sister's. And my friends have been offering to lend me clothes and things like that. So my mattress, same thing. My mattress is done for. So all these basic necessities, the money would definitely go towards helping me out with that.
As for when the tale of the cat and the tortoise shall reunite, that's just a matter of time.
For anyone who wants to help those that have been impacted by the fire, Russell has set up these posters around the area with his contact information. As for Devi, they're looking for a new place with their roommates. And as for the cause of the fire, Toronto Fire says it's still unknown and under investigation. Dahlia Ashry, CBC News, Toronto.
Uber Canada announcing it will stop requiring masks in its vehicles as of this Friday. The company says in a statement, as per Health Canada's advice, we still strongly recommend wearing a mask depending on personal risk factors and infection rates in your area. It says mask requirements will be dropped across the country except for Quebec, where provincial requirements remain. Meanwhile, Beck Taxi released a statement tonight saying it will continue to require masks in its vehicles to protect vulnerable riders. Meteorologist Colette Kennedy joins us now with a first look at the forecast. And Colette, a pretty breezy one today, but conditions overall better than yesterday.
Yeah, breezy with all those special weather statements because of the wind gusts exceeding 60 kilometers an hour, close to 70 in some cases. And keeping those temperatures down too, with our daytime highs way below seasonal. I mean, look at Kitchener and London, just 2 degrees here and 6 for Toronto. But you know what? We should be closer to 13. So, okay, we knew it was a pretty cool day today. We are seeing some improvement coming, though. The winds have been backing off. That carries on. The clouds are pulling away. So we continue to get that gradual clearing through the overnight and setting us up then for sunshine to come in for your Wednesday. Now, the winds in the morning might at times be a little breezy, but mostly we'll see those backing off too and not getting strong until tomorrow night. So that's going to improve things a little bit, although there'll be somewhat cooler feel to the air. Then the next system, that's going to come in towards Thursday, and I'm going to give you the timing on this one. Don't worry, it's not going to affect most of that day on Wednesday. -1 overnight. Tonight, 10 degrees, though, for the high. Double digits tomorrow, Kelda.
Yay. Thanks so much, Colette. A man is fighting for his life in hospital tonight after a collision between a car and a truck in Mimico. Now, it happened at around 8:16 in the area of Lake Crescent and Lakeshore Boulevard. Police say the driver of one of the vehicles was rushed to hospital with life-threatening injuries. Paramedics say the victim is a man in his 20s. A second person suffered minor injuries. Anyone with information is urged to contact traffic services. And Peel police say a girl under 12 was struck after a vehicle veered from the road in Brampton. It happened around 8:30 this morning near Sandalwood Parkway and Richvale Road. That's just down the street from another multi-vehicle crash less than 2 weeks ago when a car went flying through the fence of a nearby home. We spoke to one neighbor who says speeding is a problem in the area.
The traffic's going too fast, you know. We've had quite a few accidents. Very dangerous, you know what I mean?
Police say 2 vehicles were involved in this morning's crash. One left the road and struck the young girl. She was transported to hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. Police say both drivers remain on scene and are cooperating with the investigation. Ontario's Liberal Party is making a big promise. It pledged today to tackle gun violence by banning handguns. The promise coming just days before the kickoff of the provincial election campaign. Lisa Shing has the latest.
No more empty rhetoric, no more delays. We will move forward. We will deliver a handgun ban.
To fight gun violence, a platform announcement from Liberal leader Stephen Del Duca. If elected June 2nd, his government would ban the sale, possession and storage of handguns in Ontario. The Liberals would also take up Ottawa's funding for a buyback program and partner with the feds to stop gun smuggling. Though Del Duca acknowledged most shootings in the Greater Toronto area involve illegal guns.
One death in this province that I'm running to lead, one death by virtue of a legal handgun is one death too many.
It sends a message, unfortunately, to the people who suffer most from illegal firearms that happen to mostly live in marginalized communities, that our lives don't matter as much as that one person.
Some community leaders say a ban isn't the right approach.
These are issues like mental health not being addressed, a lack of resources in certain communities.
This gun owner and head of the Canadian Coalition for Firearm Rights agrees.
It's not the guns themselves. It's problems like mental illness and you know, all these social determinants of bad behavior. There are 640,000 people in Canada that have gone through a lot of work to be licensed to own handguns, and they do so responsibly.
Some gun control advocates applaud the move, but
the idea of having provinces do this is a really bad idea and really bad for gun control, because even if one province does it, that doesn't do anything to counter the proliferation of handguns in other provinces.
Stephen Del Duca blames Doug Ford's government for not doing more to fight gun violence, but the province tells me since most of the guns used in shootings are illegal, it's focusing its efforts there and also putting money into anti-gang intervention programs. Lisa Shing, CBC News, Toronto.
Welcome back. The province has introduced new real estate regulations, including an option for sellers who want to have a more open and transparent bidding process and giving them the opportunity to disclose competing bids. Greg Ross looks into what that means for Toronto's red-hot housing market.
Buying a home in Ontario can be a stressful process, especially when you don't know if your offer is competitive with what others are willing to pay. Under new provincial regulations, sellers now have the option to open the bidding process, making all offers transparent. But just because people selling their home can open the bidding process doesn't mean they will.
People are going to choose to stay with the blind bid because it can produce a higher selling price.
Leslie Gaynor is a Toronto real estate sales representative. She says she would prefer to see a more uniform system implemented by the government and wonders if giving an option like this to sellers may cause more confusion.
I do believe that there are rules that have to be put into place in any industry. And in any industry, those rules should be even across the board.
In a statement to the CBC, the Minister of Government and Consumer Services for the province said, "We're introducing a new code of ethics for real estate agents, improving professionalism and ensuring across-the-board standards so that Ontarians can better trust and rely on the advice they receive." But how can agents representing buyers provide accurate advice if they don't know what they're bidding against?
In no other industry do you purchase something competing against a price that you don't have access to.
Gaynor says the blind bidding process isn't solely responsible for Toronto's inflated real estate market, but she says it does create opportunities for agents and sellers to drive up prices.
It provides a mechanism to increase the offers that are on your table by blindly sending them back for improvement.
Which means that a bidder could be bidding against themselves.
Could be.
Other regulation changes to real estate include standardized forms and more stringent disclosure obligations. Greg Ross, CBC News, Toronto.
And you're looking at a live shot of the Toronto skyline, mainly cloudy this evening with a few scattered showers. And the winds have calmed down, but still a little bit breezy out there. Currently, it is 3 degrees in downtown Toronto. Let's go back to Colette now with a more detailed look at your forecast. And Colette, glad to hear we will be seeing some sunshine tomorrow with temperatures at least closer to seasonal.
Yeah, Calda, we're getting into improving sky conditions for sure. And not only that, but we've been seeing our winds improving as well. So allowing that lake effect snow machine to start to turn down again in those areas towards cottage country where we were seeing it running through into the evening hours. So those flurries tonight, wet flurries kind of tapering off as those winds continue to back off. We'll have sun early. We'll see some PM clouds moving in, but I mean later into the evening. So the daytime is going to be sunny. Now for southwestern Ontario, as you get into the evening, that's where you'll find the clouds kind of starting to roll in ahead of that next system. But those temperatures rebounding back to double digits, still a few degrees below seasonal, but we're getting there, and we'll really be there by the time we get towards Thursday. So that clearing trend through the overnight, just a few pockets, some of the higher elevation where we'll have a bit of cloud cover early, then that leaves us and we get that sunshine. Now here we are at 11 tomorrow night, so you see how that cloud will start coming in. The rain will be behind it. We'll see that mostly in the overnight hours, Chatham, Kent, towards Sarnia and back towards Windsor and London. But early Thursday morning, it's moving into the GTA, so that morning commute on Thursday and peeling away from Windsor. But once it goes through, it's only going to be a portion of the day, and then we actually get into some nice clearing by late Thursday afternoon and getting the sun coming back. So just kind of half of the day will be taken up with that rainfall. And then those winds, yes, backing off for us, but they will pick up again once that system comes in Wednesday night into Thursday. So we got a little bit of a break through tomorrow. Temperatures tonight, look at these readings, -3 to -4 because of those clearing skies in southwestern Ontario. Not quite as cool, but cool enough around the Golden Horseshoe for most. But I think it's very encouraging to see where those temperatures are going as we get deeper into this week, Hilda.
Sounds good. Thanks so much, Colette. Finally tonight, an exhibit telling the untold stories of a beloved princess is making its debut at Toronto's Casa Loma tomorrow. Almost 25 years after her passing, the Princess Diana exhibition takes guests on a walkthrough documentary of her life, narrated by the princess's royal photographer. We got a sneak peek.
Up here we have the fashion exhibit, from her wedding to some of her most iconic dresses.
This is one of the most extraordinary exhibits we've had at Casa Loma in decades. It's the story of Princess Diana through the eyes of her personal photographer, and taking her pictures and photos throughout her life, and continue on taking photos of her family beyond that. So he gives us the sense of what Princess Diana's life was and what her son's life is today, and how that's relating to her life in the past.
We had the opportunity to meet the longest active royal photographer, Anwar Hussein. The story is told from the perspective of Anwar in the voices of his two sons, Zach and Sam. We went through thousands of photographs and we started to notice themes. This is how we started to build and design our rooms around those themes. Growing up, glamour, unguarded, humanitarian. And so we started trying to find not just aesthetically photographs that just kind of wowed us, some that we had seen, very famous photographs, but also ones that people hadn't seen and also that had stories behind them. We really wanted to break it down into these rooms so that when people entered them, they would have an experience with each room to really keep people engaged, very interested.
A thrilling part of the exhibit is the hat room, where we have hats which are created by artists replicating the hats worn by Princess Diana. So it's a whimsical look at those hats. They're beautiful sculptures. It's art reflecting history. Really being inside Casa Loma, feeling some of the rooms of the castle, and when you arrive, it's a 1957 Rolls Royce, which was one of the cars that would have been owned by her stepmother. So it's Princess Diana in a castle. And when Sir Henry Pellet built this castle, he wanted to bring royalty. This is our opportunity to bring a sense of that royalty here to Toronto.
And that's our show for you tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, you can get caught up on the latest news anytime. Head to cbc.ca/Toronto. Dwight Drummond has your next local newscast tomorrow at 6. I will see you back here tomorrow night at 11. Have a great night.